Hello everyone. In my previous video, you have learned how to run a WordPress on AWS ECS using the Fargate Serverless options. I have received several comments and questions from my viewer regarding how to debug into the ECS task container using AWS Fargate Serverless options. So I'm bringing this new video to audience on demand. In this video, I will demonstrate about how to debug into or log in into the ECS task container. So I will investigate both the options such as login into the EC2 task container of an EC2 instance and ECS task container of a Fargate serverless option. So let's explore both the options.
So while doing or deploying any application into the AWS ECS task container, you will always have two options, as I said in the blog, right? There is one option called AWS Fargate Serverless and one option called AWS EC2. Just now we discussed that we will explore both the options, like deploying the application of an AWS EC2 instance and using the AWS Fargate Serverless option. So we'll explore both of the options. Okay, for your information, you can just check out here whenever there is a new cluster has been created, right? There is options always we choose to like which one, serverless or Amazon EC2 instance. Even you are launching the service under a particular cluster, like example, create service here. You will have a launch type and then you can select the Fargate, EC2 or externalize for the on-premises. So that's how exactly the deployment options for the launch type based on the work. So now let's look at that, how to debug into the application which is hosted on AWS ECS task container using the launch option EC2 machine. Okay, so I have already have this application created, which is Node.js application hosted on EC2 machine. So this cluster is available here. So let's look at the cluster and see how to do it. So once I go into the cluster, I'll see the service option there, Node.js service and the task option. Like if you have multiple service running on it, just select it, because if you go to directly task and if you're running the multiple services on the same cluster, you may not find out the right task related to particular application. So better to go with the service first, search for your relevant service here, click on the service, and then click on the task and the particular service. Then you landed to the right task which you wanted to track it. Yeah, so this is the task one. So I click the task here and I go to the EC2 machine here because EC2 machine is here, right? And this is the open address for the checking your application. So I click on the EC2 machine. Hope and make sure while you selecting your cluster, you have selected your PIN file so that you can connect to the EC2 machine. So click on here, click on the connect, go to the service client, make sure that you have a chmod 400 for your PM file, and then click on the connect option. Then we'll go to the terminal for this one. So this is my terminal. I already have a PIM file in the same folder. So I just copy paste the command here. Oops, I have copied the wrong one. Let me copy the right one. Sh command and here. So you are into the ISP. You can see the ls command and the thing will be there. Such file and directory are there. Okay. So let's check out the docker ps-a command. You can see the list of the container running there. One container is already exited. One container is already up. It is a 10 minutes ago. You can see this container up and you will find this container ID here. And if you want to log into the particular container, run the docker the command -et and this container ID, then /bin/bash, then you will be inside the container and you can find the node code here like app.js, index.html, docker file, everything is, and you can find out if you want to debug anything, what's happening, change some code, you can go to the index.php and executable file, open it and do it. And the command is not there. Uh, or you can do this particular things here. Okay, now I'll just say okay, how to check the Docker log. There's a command called Docker log, then container ID, enter, and you can see here the log. So currently this only the port is started, the same log will be shown there. If you're running any execution part, you will be able to see the execution log there. Any syntax, any code error also, because that is the tasks are getting executed, you will be able to find out. Now let's look at the other log, why the other task is getting, if you can find anything relevant there or not. Here also the same things are there. We'll open another task, which is exited one. Yeah, you can see a lot of the error we see there, what is happening there, why particular things are there. Okay, the whole the cloud watch log can dump into the container and you can be able to debug it here. So this is how exactly we can debug into the ECS task container of an EC2 machine where launch type are using the EC2 as a machine. Okay, so let's explore the second options. Just now we have saw the option to debug into the ECS task container of an EC2 instance. And this was a much easier option to access into the ECS task container because EC2 was there. So that was able to log in into server. But in case of Fargate serverless option, there is no EC2 upfront, which we can directly log in into. So let's explore that option too. Now, this I have already set up where I have created the ECS cluster along with the using the Fargate serverless option, where this website is running on using the WordPress sample one. Okay, so we'll try to debug and see that whether the code is able to see or not. Okay, to get this thing done, the first thing we need to see that very important thing to be considered here is whether the ECS task can run the Amazon ECS command or not, or under the task definition. So you should be able to run a Docker exe command automatically and land it on directly to the target container. To achieve this, we need to do the following things. Okay. So it's that first thing is like enable the ECS exe for task definitions. And setting will be like enable execute command flag. Then we have to do the SSM, that is the AWS System Manager, Session Managers. This will help us to create a tunnel into your container and your local so that you will be able to log into the container. And IAM role should have access to the run the ECS execute command. So let's follow the following steps. There is one utility is available which help us to check whether your ECS exe checker is there is enable or not. Okay, so what you can do, just clone this repository in your local machine and just try to run this the sh file. So as I already have this clone to my repository, I'll just go to that repository directly. AWS container Amazon check. Yes, so you can see I have already codes inbuilt here. Let's try to run the check ECS exe command. Okay. So it's saying that you need to pass the ECS cluster and EC ID for it. So we'll copy first the ECS cluster name, the sample WordPress Fargate, create one command here, and we require the container ID also. So we'll just go to the container, and copy the container ID, keep it in a notepad. And now we'll copy this one, see this command, and we'll keep it here, the ECS cluster name and the task ID. And I'll try to run this one. So it will start checking of the some pre-flight checking part, like whether everything is there or not. So important note here, if the JQ command is not installed, if you throw the error, you need to install your JQ command based on your Mac, Linux or Windows part, like that is a mandatory part. And also prerequisite that it's like AWS CLI to be installed, and you should have the AWS credential already in configured into machines. That will be under the /.aws folder. You can see here the session manager plugin is missing, showing it, and exe command for the task is saying the no one. Okay, so let's look at that first to install the session manager plugin here. Okay, open the session manager setup. I have a Mac OS, so I'll just go to the Mac OS. Each of the Windows or Mac OS or the Ubuntu, everything is there. So we just have to copy this one and try to run this command. It will download the GIF files. Once GIF file downloaded, unzip them. Next will be to enable using the sudo command, that will be sudo dot slash session manager hyphen bundle slash install minus I, and it will enable. It require your machine password. I just enter it. My session manager will be available. Let's try to run again the SSH script and see whether that check mark become a green or not. Now you can see here the session manager plugin is saying okay, CLI version is okay. Now next we have to do is to enable the exe enable command for the task definitions. To that, so for that we just go to IAM role, which is, and this IAM role will be the role which you are given for the your ECS task definition under the execution. So if you go to your ECS task definition, you can find out the task role which is assigned to it. You can just land it to directly from here also, and make sure you added policy there. So execute command policy I have created already there. Just make sure that it should have this execute command policy. Okay, this is available. And there one more policy which required some access. I have given a full access, but no need to give the full access. You can add a specific details also, like example. This policy is required, like effect will be allowed, and SSM messages, create control channel, create data channel, open control channel, and open data channel. That need to be added under this policy for the particular execution role of the task definition. Okay, because this required to create a tunnel between your ECS Fargate and your local machine, and that will allow you to create a tunnel, and then the communication will start it. And along with that, as I said, this execution policy is required. That will help us to run the, enable the ECS execute command under the task definition. So once we set up this IAM policy, we'll look into the next step. That is the enabling that execute command for the task definition. So if you already have a ECS created for that, you just have to use the update hyphen service command of the ECS. Else you can use the ECS create service command. So for me, it was already there. So I'll just use the update command. Now I had to copy the cluster name. Okay, the cluster name. Then task definition name will be required for to run this one. I'll go to task definition, copy the task definition name. Because this will be changed under the task definition, not under the task, right? And the service name also is required. So let's go to the service and I'll copy the service name from that also. Mm, we'll run this command. You can see this command. Okay, that's something a problem with this command. Okay, I need to put the slash. Yeah. So see this command like AWS ECS update hyphen survey hyphen cluster name hyphen task definition name, and the service name. The service name will be the ECS, and then hyphen enable execute command. Okay. Once we run that, you can see here that particular thing will be enabled. Uh, just scroll down to this particular task definition, and you can see that WQ, enter. Once you run that, you just have to verify whether it's done or not. So for that, you can run the another command called describe a task. For that required, you need to have a task definition will be there. Okay. So I will copy the existing task ID and run the describe command and with the cluster names also. So I'll show you. Yeah, see this command ECS task, describe task, cluster, and then task name. Okay, oops, I forgot to add the task number. Let me add a task number also. So this will give you details of the task definition list. Check out whether a task is enabled for the execute command. Oh, even after running this update service, we are not able to see the enable execute command. It's saying a fault. Why this is happening, it right? So let's look at why this is happening. I just change the task ID here and we just try to run it. And see, now you can see here the enable execute command is true because now the new task has been spin up from the new task definition update, and that's why we are able to get the enable execute command true. It was not there in earlier because that was the existing task which was changes done for the task definition before that one. Okay, and this way we can be achieved. Right now our things are done. Let's try to run over the check part again to see everything is on now green. The ECS exhibit command is saying that the task is available. Okay, I think I need to change the task ID here because that was the old. It's showing the stop status. That's why it was saying that it enable task is no and status was a stop. Now you can see the task definition is running Fargate and enable is okay also. We are now ready to start the decision. Now let's run the task execute command, that one. To run the command, we required a cluster name, task name, container name. Okay, so I'll just replicate the same thing again, task. And the task name. The container, okay, there's one container need to be open it. Need to get a container name. The container name is WordPress. I'll just get that also here. You can see session manager plugin was installed successfully. Use CLI to start the session and start in the session with the session ID. And you can see the codes are here. The WP admin code, WP blog header, WP content, everything's code is there. And that's how we are landed it into the particular task container using our debug field. Now, anything if you want to debug inside the code, whether the code is operated rightly, or what values are getting, you can keep doing also and check the particular container task there. And this is how exactly the debug into the ECS task container of the ECS Fargate Serverless option.
Hope this video helped you to resolve your query while debugging into the ECS task container. If you want me to cover any other topic or if you have any question, you can reach out to me or my Twitter handle or LinkedIn profile, or you can comment. Do so, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.